We're going to begin today's class standing. How novel. Mainly because it's quite cold on my floor. It might be on yours too. And just start by rubbing the hands together. Good. And then put the heels of your hands into your cheekbone, into the hollow, and gently drag down your jaw. You might make a sighing sound. And again, so rub your hands enough to really warm them. And then heel of the hands into the cheekbone hollow and draw the jaw down. Oh. I can't hear John doing that. One more. Into the cheekbone hollow, the heel of the hand. And draw the jaw down. Oh. Nice work. All right. We're going to take the arms out from the shoulders and palms up and just curl your fingers in gently. We're going to make little circles. So little being the operative word here. What's important is reaching the thumb back as far as your range of movement goes. And of course, in your standing, your feet are parallel, legs are strong, and you feel like your lower back is really supported by the core, the way you use the whole core of the body. All right, and we're just making little circles. So palm up, thumbs back, palm up, thumbs back, little circle. And hopefully it starts to feel quite heavy quickly. The faster it feels heavier, the less you have to do. So what we're looking for is fatigue in the shoulders. You might feel this in those little muscles from the neck down to the shoulders, above the shoulder blades. We're looking for warmth and fatigue there. Good, and then turn the other way, so thumbs forward, palms down, and this time back of the hands go up and thumbs forward. But do reach into the back of your movement again. So hopefully nice and hot. Just rest your arms if it gets too strong. Oh, I did a few before we started. I've achieved fatigue. All right, that's good. And just bring the hands hands in front of your heart, palms together. Draw the shoulder blades down. I'm going to make a little back bend movement. Good. And then a little forward bend movement with the hands in front. Let's see if we can keep the hands and the chest facing forward. Test the stretch in your leg and then lift up again. Make your back bend movement. Lift the front of the leg. Forward bend, but see if you can keep the chest and the hands, the face facing forward. Inhale up. Good. And do a couple more. So just checking in that you feel really supported by the strong legs, the way you lift them as you lift up. You don't crunch your lower back. If you want to make it a little bit stronger, you can try taking the arm by the ears when you do your back bend. Bring the hands back in front of the heart for your forward bend though. Just remembering to try and lift the breastbone, looking forward. Good. As you make your back bend, you can make it stronger. Arms up. Stretch your legs. Good. Last one. Good. We're going to have the hands in front of the heart again. Bend your knees so your feet are hip width and parallel to each other, center axis parallel. Knees are hip width. So that means the legs are parallel. And what we're doing by bending is it's possible to put some pressure on the spine here, but we really want to use the front core of the body and lift the pelvic floor, looking forward. So you feel really supported, even though it's an awkward position, a difficult position. Nice. And now we're just going to turn from side to side. Try to turn just the ribs. So there'd be a feeling that you want to turn at the ankles or the knees or the hips. But keep all of those facing forward and just turn the ribs. Good. Now, if you want to go a little bit stronger, and you don't have to go stronger, with the right elbow heads towards the left knee. Make sure you're really engaging internal muscular support. You might be breathing deeply now. Use your inhale to lift, your exhale to reach. Good, and then roll up, straighten your legs, lift your arms up into Urdhva Hastasana, and make a little back bend again, feeling really strongly supported by your legs, core of the body. Really reach through every fingertip. Good, and then Tadasana. Now we're going to be stepping forward and back a little on the mat. You might like to have a chair. I'm not going to use one, so I'll make this the front. The Zoom can see my face. And you can put your seat of the chair there if you like. Otherwise, we'll be using the floor. Starting in your hip width feet, Tadasana, mountain pose. Finding your breath. Enjoying your warm breath. Good, and then we'll make a little back bend as we look up the Urdhva Hastasana. Feeling supported. As you exhale, take a forward bend. Find the length of your spine and just pedal your legs a little bit to start to wake up the hamstrings a little more. But we're trying to keep an ease to the spine. So you can have a bit of a back bend shape rather than a rainbow shape. Good. And then we're going to take little steps to the back of the mat for downward facing dog pose. And lift your hands, lift your heels high, bend your knees, hips back, let your head just hang down. Feeling that deep and satisfying breath. Good, and then pedal the legs here also. Just find the stretch. So slow it down so you can really take notice of, does the stretch start in the thickest part of the muscle? Does it start closer to the tendon where the muscle attaches to the bone? Paying attention. Good. It's nice to get that feeling of stretch in the thickest part of the muscle. That's where we have the most potential. Good. Now come back to holding still. We're going to lift the heels again. We're going to bend the knees a little bit and just rock your hips from side to side. Try not to let the shoulders come forward as you do that. You'll let the head just hang down. And we're looking for that nice big stretch along the sides of the ribs. Good. And then we're going to take little steps to walk forward. And I know it feels like you're awkward and you run out of room. Doesn't matter. When you're ready, just roll up. Especially on a cold morning, you might only get a couple of steps in. Back to the front of the mat. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Feel a really supportive reach. And then Uttanasana. Feel ease in your spine and a stretch for your leg. Bending one leg and then the other. And then we're going to take little steps. Walk the inside edges of the feet together. Take the left leg up behind you. We'll start with the hips level to the floor. See how the core awareness, the paying attention, can hold the hips level. Good work. Then bend the left knee. And now the left foot is going to fall in the direction of your right hip. So you open your left ribs, look under your left armpit. Keeping your shoulders wide, sides of the neck long, pressing the right heel down. Good. And then come back to feet together. Feel the core of the body. Lift the right leg. Good. Keep the hips level to the floor. Good. And then bend your right knee and let that right foot fall in the direction of the left hip. And we open the right side of the body, looking under the right armpit and breathing. Good. And then releasing that side. And then little steps forward. Even if you just get a couple in, try to get your heel to press down towards the floor. Maybe even just pedal in one spot. Otherwise, as far forward as you can. And then roll. And arms up. Good. And then Tadasana. Come back to the front of the mat. Urdhva-hastasana. Feel supported by the lift in your legs, the lift of the front body, and the lift and arch of the spine. Uttanasana. Good. We're going to take a really big step back with the left foot. So we're in a very long lunge. And hands down on the floor underneath the shoulders. Pressing through the back heel so the back leg is straight. And dropping the hips towards the floor. But then breathing in and just lifting up a little. And as you exhale, dropping the hips towards the floor. Look up. As you exhale, lift up a little. Again. Dropping the hips towards the floor. Sorry, I said the wrong breath. As you inhale, you lift up. And as you exhale, you drop the hips. And lift up. Good. Take the left knee gently to the floor. Good. We're going to take both knees back. You're in an all fours position now and just wobbling gently the hips from side to side. Good. Center, come to center, and then spinal wave. Good. Now we're going to step the left foot forward into a long lunge. So you just walk your hands back and lift up for a moment onto your knee. And put your hands back down. Then we're in a nice long lunge again. We're going to try and bring the hips forward. Good. Inhale, lift the hips a little. As you exhale, bring the hips forward, lift the breastbone, look forward. Good. Try to keep the back leg as straight as you can. Your feet are still parallel. The legs are parallel as much as you can. Good, and then one more. Good, and we're going to step the right foot forward to the front of the mat, Uttanasana, and then bend your knee and rolling up, Uttanasana, and Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Step the right foot back into the long lunge. Good, and bring the back knee to the floor. And we're going to try and drop the hips forward a little more. You can stay up on your hands, or you can try walking the hands a little bit further forward. So that'll take the hips deeper. And some people might have the movement to bring the elbows down onto the floor. We try and keep the hips level to the floor. My knee has to go out to the side, although I'm trying to keep it in, trying to keep that idea of parallel legs. Good, and then releasing that side, we're going to step that foot back. So we're in all fours and spinal wave, front to back. Finding your breath. Easing out tension. Good, and then a little bit of hip wiggle from side to side. Let the whole spine move. Good, and then we're going to lift up onto the knees momentarily, right foot forward into that long lunge again. Keep the back knee on the floor here. So we're going to come forward into our lizard kind of a posture. Hands are under the shoulders to start with, and see if you can bring the hips forward and lift the breastbone. Good, and then to drop the hips forward a little bit more to reach the breastbone further forward. Maybe you can take your hands a little further forward, bend your elbows a little. If you have that movement where you can bring your elbows onto the floor, then do that. But try to keep the knee coming back to parallel, so you're pressing the inside edge of the right foot. Stay level to the floor, back of the neck is nice and long. Keep trying to find your back bend shape, lifting the breastbone. Good work. Lifting back up, and we're going to step the left foot forward into Uttanasana, and then bend your knees and inhale. And rolling up, Urdhva Hastasana. And Tadasana. Inhale under. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Nice stretchy legs, but relaxed back. Long and relaxed, neck is relaxed. Good. We're going to take the left foot back first this time. And drop the back knee gently to the floor. Let's see. Oh, take the right knee back. Sorry. From all fours, we'll bring the right knee forward to the right wrist. Now, depends on how much you can tolerate twisting your knee as to what you do with your right foot. So it can stay there under the right hip, or you can slide it towards your left wrist. The further you slide it, the bigger the movement for the leg and hip. And then we'll slide back through the left leg. So we're in a preparation for pigeon pose. Start with the hands flat and stretch out through the fingers and try to find your back bend shape. Good. So if we lift up onto fingertips, so make nice strong fingers to do that. You can feel the arch of the spine a little more without crunching the lower back, feeling strong, enjoying the breath. Good. And then we take that back bend shape further forward this time. So maybe the hands are further forward, or maybe down onto your elbows, or you can even slide your arms out straight in front. Whatever you have A, room for, and B, possibility of. Finding that deep breath. Notice if you're shying away from the feeling in the leg, that protective mechanism in the body. Is it too strong? Did you take your right foot too far forward? Have you tried to dip down too far? Checking in. Good, and then releasing that side. We're going to step back into all fours. A little bit of a wobble from side to side. Good, and then left knee, left wrist. And you can keep your foot directly underneath your hip. If your knee tolerates twisting, you can bring the left foot up towards the right hand, and we'll slide the right leg back. We'll start off just on the flat of the hands. Stretch the fingers wide. Draw the shoulder blades. Getting used to the position in the hips. Checking in. Activate the back leg. So press the top of the foot, lift the kneecap, squeeze the buttock muscle. Good. And lift up onto fingertips now. Find your strong back bend. Strong meaning that you're supporting the back bend shape with your whole body, your whole awareness. Not forcing your back into a strong position without support from the whole body. Aware of the breath. Good, and we'll take that back bend shape forward, either by walking the hands forward a little, or being on the elbows, or even stretching the arms out straight in front. Keep the back leg active. Good. Sliding your hands back, lifting up so that you can come back into all fours. Good. Lifting the knees off the floor, downward facing dog pose. Great. And we're going to step the left foot forward. So we're in that long lunge, and step the right foot forward. Uttanasana. And rolling up. Arms up. Feel the support of this reaching up from the ground up. And Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Right foot back, long lunge. Little different now. We're going to hold the front leg bent. So we're in a long lunge with the back knee off the floor. And we're going to lift up into Virabhadrasana 1. So lifting your torso, lifting your arms, finding your balance. Draw the shoulder blades down. And looking up. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Now, we're going to try and step forward and balance on the left foot. See if you can do that without touching down the right foot, but you might have to touch it down a few times lightly. And you might have your right tiptoes on the floor in front, You might be able to lift your leg nice and high. But from here, we're going to step back into the long lunge with the right leg. To see how you go stepping back into that position. Bring your hands down onto the floor. Here we are back in our long lunge. Draw the hips forward, lift the breastbone. Nice work. And then step the right foot forward for Uttanasana. Bend the knees and inhale and come in. I'm going to do the same on the left side. Now inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Good. Left foot steps back. Long, long lunge. Organize your feet so they're about hip width from side to side. Your legs feel strong as you lift your torso. Virabhadrasana 1. Draw the shoulder blades down, looking up. The hips are well warmed up now, so we get that feeling of being able to be strong in this posture, strong legs, internal support, but we can drop that left hip a little bit further forward. Good. Now we're going to bring the hands in front of the heart. Step forward and balance on the right leg. See how you go. And from your balance, we're going to step back into the long lunge. Hands to the floor. Nice. Drop your hips forward. Look forward. Good. And then step the left foot forward into Uttanasana. And bend your knees and inhale. And rolling up Urdhva Hastasana. And Tadasana. All right. One more balance. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, forward bend. Let's lead with the left foot this time. The left foot's going to go back. Long lunge, hips forward. Let's step forward, lift up at the same time and balance on the right foot at the front of the mat. Good. You might be holding your knee or your foot now. Maybe your tiptoes are on the floor. Find the length of the Okay, now we're going to step back into that long lunge with the left foot. See if you can do that without touching the foot down. You might have to touch it down though, that's fine. Of course. Balance first, long lunge. And we're going to step forward into Uttanasana. And then roll up into Urdhva Hastasana. And Tadasana. Second side, inhale, arms. Uttanasana. Looking up as you step your right foot back, long lunge. Now prepare, feel your balance, feel the core of the body. We're going to step forward and lift up at the same time and balance onto the left leg and bring the right foot in front. Taking a hold if that works. Feeling the lift of the body, lift of the core, length of the spine. Good, and then we're going to step that right leg back, if you can, without touching down. Reach forward so you're in your long lunge again. Drop the hips, look up. Good, and then right foot forward, Uttanasana. Bend the knees and inhale, and rolling up, Urdhva Hastasana, and Tadasana. Take both arms up by the ears, and we're going to swim them back with a backstroke butterfly and find a support behind you. So feel very supportive. Palms of the hands, fingers down against the back of the pelvis, or you might have a bigger back bend reach down on the thighs. I take the easier one. I have to look after abdominal separation, so I don't want to pop out at the front of my body like an alien. So if you've got a deeper back bend, that's fine, but feel really supported in the arch of your spine. And that comes from the feet up. Press the feet down, lift the front of the leg, the front of the belly, the breastbone. Elbows in, elbows back, breathing deeply. Ustrasana. Good, and then releasing. Put your hands forward on your thigh and make some spinal waves, forward and back. Subtle movement to dispel tension. Right up to the base of the skull. And then releasing. And we're going to sit down onto the mat now and practice your sitting. So whatever that range of movement is, range of movements to sit you down. And when you land, put the blanket so that it's helping to tip the pelvis forward. You might notice if the pelvis is tipping forward, we have more of that back bend shape, particularly in the lower back. But really where we're trying to get to is the spine feeling as long as you can. Good. And then spinal wave, forward and back. Good. Long spine, long as you can. And take your legs straight out in front. Try and keep the pelvis in forward. Good. Press the back of the legs down to the floor, unless that hurts your knees, in which case you could put a blanket under your knees. And then when you press, the knees will be supported so that you can still use all of the muscles necessary to strengthen your knees without hurting. Good. So pressing down. Nice. Now, we're going to lean back just a little bit. So we've made this nice shape for the spine. So try not to lean back with your lower back. So just tip your whole torso back a little bit. And we're going to think about lifting the pelvic floor, the lower front abdomen, and try and lift your right leg up off the floor. Maybe it doesn't lift up, but it's a hell of a lot of work. And release that thigh. Good. And now relax that leg, relax, relax. Press it down into the floor. Good. And try and lift your left. Even if it doesn't lift up. Sort of depends on the angle your body is leaning back, as well as strength. Try and lift up so it feels really hard. Good. And then release. Good. And then we're going to try and lift up both. Maybe you have to lean back a little bit more. Really using the internal muscular support and trying to lift your legs. Good. And release. As you can see, I didn't get any lift off, but boy, that's hard work. All right, now we're going to lie down. Put the legs bent and the hips, the heels near the hips. And just notice your spine supported. That little upward curve of the lower back. What proportion of your spine is touching the floor? Notice the upward curve of the neck. Hmm. We're going to bring the hands down on the floor beside the hips, palms down, and lift your hips up off the floor. If you press your feet more thoroughly and you really employ your leg muscles and your buttock muscles, so squeeze the buttock muscles, you'll lift the legs more powerfully, of course. We'll keep the neck really long and relaxed, but press powerfully into your legs and feet. Try interlocking your fingers underneath you and try and get the knuckles to reach towards the heels. Walk your upper arms closer together. Stretch the knuckles to the heels and keep the back of the neck long. Powerful legs. Nice deep breath. Good. And then gently releasing that side. So lower back, or the whole spine, I should say, back to the floor. We're going to do it again and reverse the interlock of the fingers. If you would like to lift higher, that's about bringing the heels closer to the sit bones. So you can try that on the second side if you like. Okay, so powerfully lifting the hips. That means pressing the feet, feeling the strength in the front of the legs, the buttock muscles towards center. Lift up as high as you like and keep the neck relaxed. Interlock the fingers the other way underneath you. Reach the knuckles to the heels. Walk the upper arms a little closer. Try to get the heels of the hands together. Powerful legs. Nice long neck. Reaching the arms. And breathing. Good work. And then release. Walk the feet out a little so your legs are in a relaxed position. Relax your shoulders. Feel the shape of the spine. Good. Little bit of a four twist, arms out from the shoulders, inside edges of the feet together. Noticing the spine, we're going to lift the hips, swing them to the right, and knees go left. And just feel what's going on as the pelvis turns. Feel the action of the spine, of the bone, discs, the muscle, and be relaxed here. You turn your head to look over the right arm. Feel that twisting action right up to the base of the skull. The lower 5 vertebrae don't actually twist. All you can do is get more space between them. The middle back that twists, so lift the right rib. See what happens. Breathing deeply. You can take your right leg, the one that's on top, out straight if that feels good. And aware of your core strength so that you lift your legs with support. And come back to center. Good. So we're working with the awareness of the spine. Lift the hips, swing them left, knees go right. Just noticing everything moving into this position. Left shoulder blade stays down. You turn your head to look over your left arm. Part of the spine is most evident for you, lower back or neck or middle back. If you can lift your left ribs a little more. And make the posture a little bit stronger, only if that feels good. Left leg goes out straight, the leg that's on top. Good, bend that leg back in and using full muscular support, internal, front, back and side. Back to center. Hug your knees in, rocking a little bit from side to side. And appreciating your spine, all of the work that it does. Rolling to your side, so you can come up sitting. Hands at the heart. Take the feeling of the practice with you.